14 breastfeeding report card and Healthy People 2020 breastfeeding goals. If you look at our breastfeeding rates, 6 months duration, mothers that started breastfeeding, they're still breastfeeding at 6 months. In Nebraska, our percentage is 46% of those. 46% of those mothers are still breastfeeding. Nationwide, we are seeing 49%. The Healthy People 2020 goal is set for 60.6%. Those mothers that are exclusively breastfeeding their babies, in Nebraska, we rank 20.2%. Nationwide, almost 19% of those mothers are exclusively breastfeeding their babies. And the Healthy People goal for 2020 is 25.5%. So we have ways to climb. 12 months duration breastfeeding moms in Nebraska, we still have a quarter of those moms that started out breastfeeding have continued to breastfeed for that whole year, which is recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics to breastfeed for a year. Nation, we're looking at 26.7%, so Nebraska is not too far behind. But our goal for 2020 will be 34.1%. This next slide just deals with the 2020 Healthy People goals for breastfeeding. So those babies that ever breastfed, those babies here at the hospital that maybe latch right after delivery and then mother never puts them back to the breast, we still count them as initiating breastfeeding. So babies that have ever breastfed, we have 81%. We've rose since 2006 from 73%. At 6 months, again, 60%. We've climbed from 43%. At 1 year, 34%. And that again is a climb from 22, almost 23%. Those exclusively breastfeeding through 3 months, 46.2, and exclusively breastfeeding through 6 months is 25.5. So we've grown, but we still have some growing to do, don't we? So these are statistics here that we take. Kara and I watch birth skin to skin. So as soon as the baby's born, we place the baby on mother's chest until baby latches, okay? And we audit the charts and we keep stats for these. So when we started this in 2011, we only had a 4-month time frame that we looked at, but we were 35%, and we realized we need to do a lot more educating on what skin to skin is and what it's to do for the moms and babies. 2012, we climbed to 59%, not quite doubled it, but we did a good job. 2013, we climbed again to 72%. 2014, 78%. And 2015, we're sitting, as of the end of September, 86%. So 86% of those babies that could go skin to skin with mother went skin to skin and stayed with mom until that first latch, until that first breastfeeding is concluded. Here is a slide that our quality team measures. If you look at the red, this is C-section, okay? What our goal is here is to get babies to mother within the first 2 hours and nurse within that first 2 hours after a C-section. As you know, we don't do skin to skin in the C-section room, but our goal is to get the baby to mother. We're doing very well. It's usually not 2 hours. We usually can get the baby to the mother within the hour. So when you take your baby from transitional nursery into the recovery room for mom, we need to do skin to skin. Be sure you're doing the skin to skin and let the baby go through those 9 stages of development before they latch. Okay? So you can kind of see we went up and down, up and down, up and down. We kind of dropped, and now we are above our 80% that we're aiming for, our target goal. The blue line is the vaginal skin to skin. We talked a little bit about that, but there it is on the graph. You can kind of see we're climbing. We're doing much better. This is a slide from our quality team. These can be found on the home page. They update them every quarter. These are our 2 core measures for exclusive breast milk feeding and exclusive breast Feeding Mother's Choice, our current value, what our target is, and what we did last month. So you can see we really do need to continue to improve on that. Here's another one, it's just graphed out for us. So again, our core measure, how we come down and kind of below our target. So we know we need to do some work. We know we need to do something. So where do we go from there? Where do we go from here? We need to increase those rates. We need to see more exclusive breastfeeding in the hospital. Why are we interested with exclusive breastfeeding in the hospital besides a very needle core measure for us to follow for JACO standards? Because those babies that are exclusively breastfeeding during the hospital have shown that they nurse longer, even up to a year. So it's a benefit to mom and baby to increase our nation's breastfeeding rates. So when you think what we need to do, I always like to look at SBAR, and we all know SBAR. The situation, we need to increase the exclusive breast milk feedings in the newborns during their hospital stay, and we need to increase skin to skin until that first latch occurs and the breastfeeding is concluded. Background, we've looked at where we've been, what we've done, what we've used, the assessment, we've looked at our graphs and goals and how we've climbed or where we need to improve. So that leads us to our next step in order. What do we recommend? How can we make this happen? Well, a recommendation that I think would be good, a skin to skin in the C-section room. We've talked about that. That's kind of in the planning. Now with more CLCs on board, we're hoping that we can, use that as one of our projects, or at least do a pilot project and see if we can implement that here at Regional West. Another one is a breastfeeding support group. I know we've tried it in the past, but there's been some interest communicated to me about getting a breastfeeding support group here at Regional West. That would be a good thing. Donor milk would be great, because then we'd have our breast milk here. We have a donor bank as close as St. Luke's, and we receive information all the time about that. So that's kind of in the works. The next thing that I'd like to recommend, and as you all know, we've been kind of been working towards this. We've been following the 10 steps to baby friendly, but I feel that we need to move towards baby friendly. The Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative is a global program that was launched by the World Health Organization and the UNICEF in 1991 to ensure that all birthing hospitals and centers become centers for breastfeeding support. Evaluation tools to support the BFHI assessment process were developed and tested by WellStart back in 1994. And then 3 years later, at the request of the United States Committee for UNICEF, the Healthy Children Project accepted the responsibility for creating an organization which would serve as the designating body for the BFHI in the United States. So this finally came into fruition in about August of 1997. There are 10 steps to become baby friendly, or 10 steps in the initiative. We have one baby friendly hospital in Nebraska, that's Bryan Medical. We have 3 baby friendly hospitals in Colorado, Poudre Valley Medical Center in the Rockies, Good Samaritan in Lafayette. There are 2 located in South Dakota, Pine Ridge and Rosebud, and we have 1 in Wyoming, Powell, Wyoming. So these are the 10 steps. We must have a written breastfeeding policy that is routinely communicated to all healthcare staff. We need to train all healthcare staff in the skills necessary to implement this policy. Inform all pregnant women about the benefits and management of breastfeeding. Help mothers initiate breastfeeding with 1 hour of birth. Show mothers how to breastfeed and how to maintain lactation even if they're separated from their babies. Say if their babies are admitted to NICU or if their babies are flown to Denver. Give infants no food or drink other than breast milk unless medically indicated. Practice rooming in. Allow mothers and infants to remain together 24 hours a day. We're doing that. Encourage breastfeeding on demand. Give no pacifiers or artificial nipples to breastfeeding infants. We're doing that. Foster the establishment of breastfeeding support groups and refer mothers to them on discharge from the hospital or birth center. So we know that mothers are more likely to initiate exclusive breastfeeding and more likely to sustain breastfeeding at 6 months and at 1 year of age because of the institutional support of breastfeeding at these facilities. Even adherence of these 10 steps associates increased breastfeeding around the world. In the United States, if mothers just follow 6 of these steps, they're 13 times more likely to continue breastfeeding during their breastfeeding hospitalization. So that's where we need to start. Also, adherence to these 10 steps decreases racial, ethnic, and social cultural disparities of breastfeeding in the United States hospitals. So why should we try for the breastfeeding hospital designation and not just follow the 10 steps? We're close to doing this, aren't we? Well, the process of obtaining baby-friendly designation compels the facilities to examine, challenge, and modify their long-standing policies, their procedures, and the process also strengthens the organization by enhancing leadership skills, increasing the staff competence, and improving patient satisfaction, and that's a big one. Although the hospital is not and should not be the only place where the mother receives her breastfeeding support, the hospital provides a unique and critical link between the breastfeeding support provided to and after delivery. It's very important for her. It's a deep, okay, I always forget to go to that one. Okay, that's what I just said. All right, so it is a detailed path process, and it's called the 4D plan. You see the discovery, the development, the dissemination, and designation. Well, it's a timely process, and it's a plan that needs to be budgeted for. And most recently, I talked to Connie, and she said that she received a call from John Menton, and he had a call, he's our CEO, and he had a call about somebody wanting to know if we were a baby-friendly hospital because they wanted to come here and deliver. Well, then that sparked his interest in becoming baby-friendly. So they have communicated, and our plan is to move forward with this. And hopefully we will get our baby-friendly designation in 2017. It's probably going to take that long. She has to budget for it this year, and then we'll work on it in 2016 and hopefully strive for our designation in 2017. So that's exciting. And it's a 5-year designation, and then after 5 years you have to reapply. But the first path, the first part of it, you register with Baby Friendly, you get a letter of support from your CEO, you complete the self-appraisal tool, and then the development plan, you get a breastfeeding committee or task force, you work on the plan, you develop your breastfeeding policy, the training plan, prenatal postpartum teaching plans, and then you start collecting data. After you have all of that, then that's when you start disseminating the information. You train the staff, you collect the data, which is a bridge to implementing the QI plan. At this time, after we get our QI involved, then we realize that we are ready to intervene, ready for our interview because we've worked out all the kinks, and then we're ready for our on-site assessment. So I'm excited about that change. It's a great change. So we can be the leader in maternal health, maternal child health care here in Western Nebraska. This would be the pathway to exceed the perinatal core measure set before us. Any questions about this? We can be the change. I love this. This is my great nephew, Blake, and he's breastfeeding his new baby sister Riley,